January 1935, Kansas City, Missouri. The United States was still struggling through the Great Depression. People were moving city to city looking for work, identities were easy to hide, and records were slow to verify. In this exact environment, a case occurred that remains one of the most confusing hotel room murders in American history. This is the story of a man who checked into a hotel under a false name, met unknown people, received strange phone calls, was brutally assaulted, and died without ever identifying his attacker. The room he stayed in was room 1046 at the Hotel President. The man called himself Roland T. Owen. His real name, discovered much later, was Artemus Ogletree. Even after his identity was confirmed, the most important question remained unanswered: who killed him and why? On the afternoon of January 2, 1935, a well-dressed young man walked into the Hotel President in downtown Kansas City. He introduced himself as Roland T. Owen and gave a Los Angeles address. He did not carry any luggage with him. Hotel staff later remembered that he wore a dark overcoat and looked neat and confident. He specifically requested an interior room on a higher floor. Interior room did not face the street. They faced the hotel's inner courtyard, making them quieter and more private. He was assigned room number 1046 on the 10th floor and paid for only one night. The bellhop who escorted him noticed two unusual things. First, the man had a large scar on the side of his head. Second, his ears looked swollen and damaged, similar to those of boxers or wrestlers. This led staff to assume he may have been involved in fighting sports. Inside the room, Roland unpacked only 3 items from his coat pocket: a comb, a hairbrush, and a toothpaste. There were no clothes, no suitcase, and no personal belongings. After receiving his key, he left the hotel almost immediately. Later that afternoon, a hotel maid named Mary Skoptik entered room 1046 to clean. She was surprised to find Roland inside because the room had been captured by a woman the previous night. Roland apologized calmly and allowed her to clean. While cleaning, Mary noticed that the curtains were drawn and only one small lamp was turned on. The room remained dim. She later told police that Roland appeared nervous and uneasy, as if he was afraid or worried about something. Before leaving, Roland put on his coat and told her to leave the door unlocked because he was expecting friends. When Mary returned around 4 p.m. with fresh towels, the room was dark again. Roland was lying fully dressed on the bed. On the bedside table, Mary noticed a handwritten note. It said, "Dawn, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait." This was the first recorded mention of someone named Dawn. The next morning, January 3, Mary returned to the room. The door was locked from the outside, which suggested Roland had left. However, when she opened it with her key, Roland was inside, sitting in the dark. While she was cleaning, the phone rang. Roland answered and said, "No, Dawn, I don't want to eat. I'm not hungry. I just had breakfast." He repeated that he was not hungry and hung up. Mary found this strange. Roland then asked her questions about the hotel. He asked if people lived there permanently and whether she was responsible for the entire floor. After finishing her work, Mary left. Later that afternoon, when she returned again with towels, she heard 2 men talking inside the room. When she knocked, a deep male voice said they did not need towels. Mary knew this was not true because she had taken them earlier. At this point, it was clear that Roland was meeting someone privately, but no one ever saw who entered or left the room. That night, multiple guests and hotel employees noticed unusual activity on the 10th floor. A woman staying nearby reported loud voices, arguments, and people moving in and out late at night. An elevator operator also reported escorting a woman he believed to be a prostitute to the 10th floor. She specifically asked about room 1046 and seemed confused when her client was not there. She returned multiple times during the night and was later seen with another man. It is unknown whether this woman had any connection to Roland Owen. However, her repeated interest in room 1046 raised serious questions. Around the same night, a city worker driving nearby reported picking up an injured man wearing only an undershirt and pants. The man appeared hurt and angry and said someone would pay for what had been done to him. Later, the worker believed this man may have been Roland. On the morning of January 4, hotel staff noticed that the phone in room 1046 was off the hook. A bellboy was sent to investigate. The door was locked and had a do not disturb sign. When staff finally entered, they initially thought Roland was sleeping or drunk. Later that morning, when staff returned again, they found Roland collapsed on the floor, bleeding heavily. Blood was visible on his walls, bed, and bathroom. He had been tied with cords around his wrists, ankles, and neck. A doctor was called immediately. Roland had been severely beaten, strangled, and stabbed multiple times in his chest. One wound had punctured his lung, and his skull was fractured. Despite all this, when asked who attacked him, Roland reportedly said nobody. He lost consciousness soon after and died just after midnight on January 5, 1935. Police quickly discovered that Roland T. Owen was not a real person. No records exist in Los Angeles. No family came forward. The room itself raised more questions. There were no clothes, no towels, no soap, and no weapon. A broken glass, hairpin, safety pin, sulfuric acid bottle, and an unsmoked cigarette were found. Fingerprints believed to belong to a woman were found on the phone. Despite heavy media coverage, no clear suspect emerged. 2 months later, just before the body was to be buried in a pauper's grave, an anonymous man called and paid for the funeral. Flowers were sent with a card that read, "Love forever, Louise." No one attended the funeral except police officers. Later that year, a woman in Alabama named Ruby Ogletree recognized the photo of the scared man. He was her son, Artemus Ogletree, who had left home at 17 to travel to California. Even more disturbing, Ruby received letters from her son after he had already died. Some claimed he was in Europe. One caller said he was alive and living in Cairo, Egypt. No travel records ever confirmed this. Some believe Don was a criminal associate. Others think this was a crime of jealousy or revenge. Some believe organized crime was involved. Others think Artemus knew too much or was trying to escape someone. In 2003, a historian received a mysterious call about a box containing evidence from the case. The caller never revealed what was inside. Room 1046 remains one of America's most disturbing unsolved murders. We know how Artemus Ogletree died. We know where. We even know when. What we still do not know is the most important thing: who was Don? Who was Louise? And why did Artemus Ogletree die alone in a locked hotel room?